All right, Krystal, what's on your radar?
Well, back in 2002, Richard Florida coined the term creative class to describe the white-collar professionals and entrepreneurs who were ascendant in both wealth and in culture. At the time, he encouraged cities to cater to their tastes and sensibilities of this upper-middle-class demographic. Give them their bike lanes and their art galleries and their artisanal cheese shops so that they will bless your town with their vibrant presence. As he wrote, creativity has replaced raw materials or natural harbors as the crucial wellspring of economic growth. To be successful in this emerging creative age, regions must develop, attract, and retain talented and creative people who generate innovations, develop technology-intensive industries, and power economic growth. It was a sort of build the organic fair trade coffee shop and they will come ethos, and cities actually did exactly that. Providence, Rhode Island launched an unlikely bid to be the nation's capital of independent rock music. Pittsburgh added a bunch of urban hiking paths. Economic development gurus in Memphis urged they add a celebrations of diversity festival. But now in the age of universal basic income and direct cash assistance, some cities are cutting to the chase and just straight up offering cash to entice this special vibrancy creating flowers of the creative class to move into their towns. In fact, according to NPR, Richard Florida himself is working with these cities to create these cash incentive programs. So if you're willing to pack up your Zoom office and head to, say, Northwest Arkansas near the Bentonville headquarters of Walmart, you can get $10,000 and a mountain bike. But only if they decide, based on your application, that you qualify as top remote work talent. In fact, to even qualify to apply, you must either work full-time remotely or be an entrepreneur. Here's a portion of their promo pitch to the PMC.
I didn't expect downtown to be so hip and cosmopolitan.
I think the downtowns are like the heart of a place.
We have invested very heavily in our downtowns. Downtowns are the heartbeat of any community.
You know, the goal is to have a cafe in all the downtowns of Northwest Arkansas. This is where we're from. We didn't want to move away. We wanted to build something we are proud of here.
You know, I truly believe that Northwest Arkansas can be a community model for the country. And I believe that in 10 years' time, the country's going to know that.
We have done something here that people really want.
I'm really proud to live here.
It's incredibly intentional what we've done here. Community is the sum of its parts, and the parts are the people.
So, what makes home home? I guess that answers the question, actually.
Now, the fact that it's the Walmart Families Foundation sponsoring a cash transfer program that explicitly prohibits the overwhelming majority of Walmart's workforce from participating is really something in and of itself. It's not just Arkansas throwing cash at the PMC, though. Tulsa, Topeka, Kansas, North Platte, Nebraska, Hamilton, Ohio, Newton, Iowa, they are all offering their own versions of cash incentives for, quote, top remote work talent, under the mistaken belief that what's wrong with their towns is that the people who already live there are not good enough. The whole effort actually reminds me of the insane lengths that cities will go to attract new employers, like the embarrassing way that they threw billions at Amazon, one of the most profitable businesses in history, in order to win the right to play host to their new headquarters. Or the $4.5 billion deal Wisconsin offered to Foxconn in order to build a new factory, which just ended in total embarrassment, catastrophe, and a whole lot of wasted money. Oh, and not to mention a lot of quashed hopes as well. Yep. Throwing money at already successful businesses while local small businesses struggle and close their doors sounds precisely like throwing money and glossy PR videos at affluent professionals while locals get eviction notices and police brutality. It's one more way that the pandemic will exacerbate inequality long after the virus's threat itself has subsided. A recent Upwork survey found that something like 23 million Americans are thinking of moving because of remote work in search of better quality of life and cheaper cost of living. They get to still earn the same salaries, plus maybe a little cash bonus thrown in, but they get to live in whatever sunny, low-cost locale that they please. The largely low-wage service workers, of course, don't have this luxury or remote work or of casually moving to a new, more affordable town. there aren't any cash bonuses for cashiers or warehouse workers looking to head for greener pastures. Now, I don't blame the professionals who are reevaluating their lives, maybe looking for more leisure, more family time, more space. In fact, if COVID actually causes us to value things like family, like community, like leisure, rather than ambition in the career ladder, that would be unequivocally a good thing. I also can't really blame small cities, many of which are struggling for their desperation. After all, it's not their fault that national trade policy has decimated much of the country outside of a few mega regions. Many places are left with few options outside of trying to bribe a multinational monopoly to create a few more jobs in their town, or to have Richard Florida help them lure the well-off by conjuring just the right blend of microbreweries, concert venues, and walkable streetscapes. But it's a perfect example of how if you're doing well in America, then you're loved, you're catered to, you're sought after. You get a mountain bike and a moving bonus. And maybe, more than anything, you get cultural power. Both political parties cater to your every whim. Politicians go to the mat for your SALT tax deduction. MSNBC hosts lament that your taxes on income over $500,000 may modestly increase. The Republican Party will plan a surface-level diversity push to try to get back in your good graces. You get to see your own preferences and lifestyle reflected back in the news media and in Hollywood's conception of the good American life. Your spending habits determine the contours of our retail landscape, and slight shifts in where you want to live redraw the political map and reshape the geography of power. Now, if you're struggling, it's the exact opposite. You're pushed to the margins, you're looked at as less than human. You're treated as nothing more than a tool for helping the creative class to realize their dream lifestyle. Because inequality is about so much more than just income. It's about who we deem to be worthy, who we deem to be desirable, who we desperately want to see move in, and who we desperately want to kick out. Sagar, very interesting effort underway. And it's the natural evolution of Richard Florida's thing used to be like, oh, create all these amenities and the right people from the creative class will flock to your town. And now it's like, well, let's just cut out the middleman. These people are thinking of moving. Let's just give them some cash and get them into town. As if that's really the issue at play in this country.
And, in some ways you can't blame the town because they literally, what are they supposed to do? Like, they need revenue. Their populations have been declining.
Manufacturing-based, like, totally
exactly,
shuttered.
Manufacturing-based gone. We covered that story about it was a town, I forget, it was Missouri, Mississippi, somewhere, where they literally didn't have water because their infrastructor was so broken.
Mississippi,
and they needed $5 billion, and they had like 10,000 people who live there. What are you going to do? And it's really pointing out the structural problems there. And if you're working class, I hope you like driving because that's what's happening, right? Like, you'll have all these people move in and they'll buy up all the real estate. This is what I've been hearing is happening in Austin. People get pushed out further and further and further. I hope you like waking up at 4:30 a.m. in order to get on the road and in order to get there. And if your tire blows on the way, that's on you. That's your problem. You're gonna have to put more miles. You'll lose time with your family. There's no amenities for you. All of the stuff around you is dilapidated, or it's like chain or something. It's not, artisanal or whatever. It's also funny, like that Arkansas video that you played. It's like Sam Walton must be rolling in his grave because I just wrote a book about that. He's actually stood for the opposite of a lot of these people. I'm not saying he was a good guy, but I'm saying in his personal life, he was like, I'm the richest man in the world and all I need is a truck and some hog hunting dogs. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that guy would hate a lot of these coffee shops that are artisanal and more that they're trying to turn his city into. But what strikes me is I've been to that place a million times. Is that really what makes Arkansas great? Might as well go to Brooklyn. It looks like any major PMC gathering point, from some coffee shop in San Francisco to Brooklyn to Chicago to Austin. It's like the same cookie cutter thing.
Yeah.
Like, if you hate strip malls, this is the strip mall version of being around PMC because it all just looks exactly the same.
Look, I like the artisanal cheese shop.
I'm not saying
I like
bad,
the coffee shop. I like all these things. But the point is, this is one of the subtle ways that inequality continues to grow and grow and grow. And this is one of the ways where it's not just about the income level. Those are people that are already doing well, right? They're already making good money. They're already able to live a decent life, whatever town they are. Now through remote work, they get another array of options. Great for them.
Yeah,
great for them.
I don't begrudge
they get some moving bonus thrown at them. And meanwhile, the people who are struggling, they don't get any of that.
Yeah.
They get an eviction notice in July when the moratorium is up, right? this cash that could be spent on like helping the people that live in your town who've been there through thick and thin, help them to be able to prosper rather than constantly chasing like, oh, this is the special class of people. These are the special flowers that we have to bring in to make sure our town is fine. So it's just another way that the country continues to bifurcate, continues to separate out. Another way that people continue to feel like, people who are in the working class continue to feel like this group gets everything. They get to see their preferences reflected in our streetscapes, in our media, in Hollywood movies, in all of that. And I can never escape the toil of my day-to-day life. I don't get the option of picking up and moving somewhere nice.
Never.
I don't get the option of remote work. And Lord knows I'm never getting an option of like $10,000 to go and a mountain bike to go wherever I please.
I can't imagine staying in your hometown just because you like it and you like your family and you've been watching it just get sucked dry and then watching them throw tax breaks to somebody from like New York City. I truly can't imagine what that's like. But that's what, it shows you where the priorities are. That's what it is.
Yep.
It's terrible.
Coming up, Jennifer Holdsworth-Karp and Rachel Bovard are Team Rising when Rising returns.